Okay, now we're going to start talking about blood types. There are a couple of concepts that you need to understand before we start talking about blood types. The concept is that the blood that I have is fine inside my body. The blood that you have is fine inside your body. There's no problem with it. So then the situation or the reason why we need to talk about blood types is because there are certain circumstances, car accident, anemia, etc., in which my blood must go inside your body or your blood must go inside my body. Meaning now there's going to be an interaction between my blood and your blood. And that's the main reason why we need to understand that we need to find out the exact correct combination to avoid problems within the two different kinds of blood that we are going to mix. Now, if you look at the first concept that it says in here, it says blood types, for example, it says it's a compatibility issue between plasma proteins and erythrocytes. So it's telling you that there's going to be two pieces, plasma proteins and erythrocytes. Why? Because now we're talking about the relationship and the interaction there's going to be between my blood and your blood, or your blood and my blood, or whoever it is that needs to get the blood. So when we talk about plasma proteins, we are talking about the antibodies, right here, antibodies. And when we talk about the red blood cells, you're talking about the antigens. That's why these two items are being highlighted in here. So there's going to be a good, or there have to be a good relationship between the antigens and the antibodies in order to make this interaction work. Otherwise, there's going to be a problem. Now, what type of interaction is this? Well, this type of interaction is going to be called the antigen-antibody complex. If this interaction is not the most appropriate, is not correct, then this interaction is going to get bad and you're going to get a problem called agglutination, where the cells are going to get destroyed, and obviously the person getting the blood is going to start suffering. To make things even worse, let's scroll down a little bit. Look at what it says in here. What determines the person's ABO or RH blood type? And then it says in here, incompatibility between monofilament, or this one right here, other groups other than the ABO and the RH. So not only there's going to be an interaction between two different groups of cells, let's say my cells and your cells, but also we have to find out if there's other components, other type of cells that are going to make this interaction even worse. The most common interaction that we search in the medical field is the ABO and the RH. But that doesn't mean that these are the only two kinds of interactions that may happen. And that is true because right here it says other groups. So you may check for the ABO and the RH to see if the interaction is correct. But if you don't check for the other type of groups, then obviously there's going to be a problem and the person may even die. So you have to be aware of that. There are multiple different groups, and these groups are not necessarily related. Okay, so let's just scroll down. Right here we have medical history. Obviously, we are not going to talk about that. And let's see what's the next topic. Okay, right here we have a table showing us the ABO blood group, because right here we have obviously the ABO group. That's the first topic that we are going to talk about, the ABO group. And for that reason, obviously, they are showing us this table. Let's take a look at the details of this table by looking at a little video. Let's continue now. The ABO group is still in here. We already looked at all this information. And the next topic obviously is going to be the RH group, as you can see in here. This is a different group, therefore we are going to have a different subtitle right here. So let's watch a little video so we can understand what's going on with the RH group. The RH group is also important, so you need to be aware of that, because there's some conditions that are going to be specifically related to the RH group, such as erythroblastosis fetalis or hemolytic disease of the newborn, which is something that happens only with, or most frequently, let's say, with the RH groups. So let's take a look at this video. So let's continue after the erythroblastosis fetalis to see the next topic right here. And what we have is other blood groups. As I said before, besides the ABO and RH groups, there are some other ones that you can see: Kell, Kidd, Duffy, and these also may create, as you can see here, hemolytic disease of the newborn, unless that you check and make sure that you verify that the parents are not at risk for hemolytic disease of the newborn if they have a baby. But obviously, it's very hard to check for the more than 500 different types of blood groups that are available. So that's why most of the time we check for the ABO and the RH groups only. Because again, if you get the wrong combination, and these are the most common ones, if you get the wrong combination, then obviously the blood is going to get destroyed, as you can see in this figure. Let's scroll down to see, let's scroll up to see that. So if we scroll up, we get right here to this figure where you can see that when you have the wrong compatibility, the blood gets destroyed like that. In this case, the compatibility was correct, so you can see that nothing actually happens. Obviously, in this case, you see that something was destroyed, and you can clearly see that this is type AB. In this case, nothing happens, so it's going to be type O.